Now to COVID and how it's been affecting education for months. Yesterday, we spoke with a Rochester parent who is also a certified psychologist, talking about the extremely negative impacts that she has seen with distance learning, especially on those she counsels, so students and their families.
What's happening is really bad, and it was a huge wake-up call. And I'm as a mental health provider and someone who works with a lot of kids, I just feel like it's really my responsibility to speak up and let people know that while they're perhaps protecting kids from COVID, we're really at a crossroads right now where mental health and physical health are a bit at odds. And I feel like the mental health aspects have been really underplayed.
There is, of course, another side to this. Campbell Muenchow is an elementary school teacher here in Minnesota. She lives in St. Paul and is going to be doing some switching of roles, but still, Ann, you'll be with elementary students. And you reached out to our newsroom after having seen some of the stories that we've covered regarding the parents who want their kids back in the classroom. Now, I know that there is another side to this because I have plenty of friends who are teachers as well, and they have their own concerns about getting back into the classroom. Talk to me about the concerns.
Well, there are a lot of concerns. First, I would like to say that when I saw this story, it was posted by some Rochester teachers. And I reached out to teachers in Rochester and asked if anyone else would be willing to do this interview. And there was a lot of concern with them. I heard things like they would private message me and say, I'm too scared to speak out. Someone else said that they got a directive from their district that they were not supposed to speak to the press without first talking to the school district's public relations person. And so I feel that our teachers' stories are not getting out as much.
I did an interview with the governor back in September when he said that districts would be able to decide on their own. And I heard from a lot of teachers after that, because I talked to the superintendent of the school and said there are teachers who would like to continue distance learning and they're being told that they can't. And sure enough, these teachers couldn't speak to me on the record because they're afraid for their jobs. They don't want to be in the classrooms because of their concerns, but they don't get that choice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've had friends calling me in tears because they're being forced back into the classroom. I had a friend who has lived with her parents for about a decade now and actually bought another house for her parents because she's being forced back into the classroom. I have friends that are single parents and are being forced back into the classroom. So there are lots of teachers who are even have put in ADA requests, who have gone through the process, who have jumped over all of the hurdles that are put in front of us, and are still being denied and forced back into the classroom.
I don't want it to become an us versus them situation, which so much in society is right now because of this pandemic. Well, we believe this or we believe that, and then it pits people against each other. When it comes to education, I understand the concerns absolutely from these teachers. They also have elderly parents, as you're talking about. I have elderly parents, and I don't want to expose them either. And then you've got parents on the other hand saying, my kids aren't learning. The quality of virtual learning just isn't there. And so what do we do?
I think we're stuck between a bad choice and a bad choice.
I agree.
I mean, the reality is there's not a great solution to this. But I think we need to honor all sides involved. I think that one thing that a lot of teachers I've talked about that really weighs heavy on our hearts lately is the us versus them mentality. As teachers, we give our heart and our soul to our students. We love our students. I mean, you hear the rhetoric of teachers saying, we want to be in the classroom with our students. And it's not just a line that we're told by our union. We really do. We're there because we love teaching. I mean, it fills us up in ways that, it's like a vocation. And my coworkers say things like, I just want more live meets with my students because I almost feel like I'm in the classroom with them. So we don't just say that to make people happy. We love our students and we want to be there. And so hearing from parents that what we're doing isn't good enough is really deprofessionalizing and demoralizing. Teachers that I know are working longer hours than we ever have. And we know it's not as good as classroom instruction. It can't be, but we're doing the best that we possibly can with what we're given, because it's not a great situation. And going back to a classroom full in person with 28 other students, in a classroom that windows don't open, which is what a lot of us are facing here in the cities, isn't a good solution. That's dangerous. And, we're being told students may not be able to social distance. Even 3 feet might not be possible at all times. That there aren't going to be people on buses to really watch that students are social distancing. And so even the reality of going back to the classroom isn't what we think of it. It's not what we're used to. It's not the teacher giving you a hug when you walk in the door. It's not the preschooler who's scared because they haven't been in preschool before, and so the teacher gives them a big hug and helps them, take off their boots. That can't happen. And so the reality that we're putting our students into when we say we want them back into school, I don't think is what people envision.
And we talk about it, and we bring both sides to the table and hope people have an understanding. More patience, I think, is what we need on all sides of this, and to listen to people and their concerns. And you didn't have to do this, and so I really appreciate you speaking on behalf of the teachers who are afraid for their jobs, because you are saying the things that they would like to say. So thank you.